Hello, hello, Ghost to Bodefeld. Demon Dreamer was also on YouTube chat, which I just remembered to activate. Yes, you should be able to hear me. Hi. Let me just make sure. Demon Dreamer, if you can hear this, could you please type something in chat? My keyboard is actually disconnected at the moment, so I can't. Um, but if you could just say hi again or something, that will help me to know that the YouTube chat is in fact working, which, as always, is a problem. But see, allowing for the delay, of course. Hi. There we go. So, hi, how are you? I'm back again, of course. Please forgive the tank top. It's been very, very hot in here, so there we go. Thank you. Much appreciated. Yeah. So last week I had the week off, or I took the week off, as the case may be, and did not go to plan. As you may have noticed, if you tried to watch any of my announced streams, that never happened because we got hit with a heat wave. And as a result, so the building has turned off the air conditioning because there was a little cold snap just before that. It makes sense. But then we got hit with a heat wave, and it has been a swamp in here. It has just been the worst. It's basically, the air has been soup. So both my spouse and myself have had a really hard time sleeping, and that just hit as I went on vacation. And so I spent all of last week in a complete sleep depth zombified state. It was not good or relaxing, unfortunately. Didn't go to plan, so as a result I was not stream worthy all week, and so I planned to stream every day and I didn't stream once. I'm still bitter about that. But anyway, hi, I'm back doing the thing. And yeah, I hope y'all are having a good enough day as you can in 2025, because 2025. Yeah, more puppets. So here's what's going on. We'll just jump right into it. This week, you have a lot of, yeah, no, like I said, the air is soup. Because I try to get out for at least a walk or something every day just to get some exercise. And I don't use the elevator at all anymore. So one of my policies, this is one of the reasons I've managed to keep the weight off, is because I try to have a minimum amount of calorie burn per day. And one of the ways I do that is we live on the 5th floor, so I never use elevator unless I absolutely have to. I always use the stairs. So I had gone out for a walk the other day, and I came back and I'm walking up the 5 flights of stairs, and I described it to my spouse as it was like walking into soup. It was just like you could feel the humidity every step. Was just, the humidity was just increasing. So yeah, it's been monstrous. And this building, for some reason, at night it gets worse. Like the whole building just warms up, and so like 2 o'clock every morning, we just wake up and it's like unbearable. Like, it can be fairly comfortable when you're going to bed, but then like in the middle of the night you just wake up and there's just like ugh. We're to see orangutans pinwheeling through the canopy because it's a rainforest in here. Anyway, not so bad today, although it is still pretty muggy, but it's currently raining a lot, so hopefully this is the turning point. Anyway, that's me complaining about the weather for 10 minutes. Hope you enjoyed it. But we have good news because we're back to puppets, and this week is exciting. So next week, I have to start a couple of fairly intensive commissions, which is good, a good thing. But it's going to be a lot of work, and I'm not quite sure how much time it's going to take me. So I need to get the Halloween builds done. And that's what I was working on this week. So that's what we're going to sort of hopefully finish today. I don't know if we'll finish it all on stream, but we're going to get there. And some of this is going real well, and others is fine. But there's one, I tried a new thing and it worked out pretty well. So I'll show that in a minute. But that's today. Today is Halloween builds. And hopefully, like I said, my goal is to be finished today or early tomorrow. So let's see. It's only going to be 2 for the moment. I may be able to squeeze another before actual Halloween. I always try and get it done a few weeks before Halloween, just so it gives time to actually get them by Halloween. But nevertheless, you know, this is my time of the year. So yeah. Let's talk about what we're doing. So I think, did I show this? I don't remember if I showed the new prototype. Let me grab it. You've probably seen this on my socials if you haven't. So this was my solution to the whole, I want to create a build that doesn't need arm rods, that I can get into a smaller box, basically, because arm rods are, you know, 18 inches long and you need at least an 18-inch box for it to go in. This is one of the ways I've been reducing shipping costs. And so the idea was kind of like the smalls, in which I just need to make a small puppet, but that it still has lots of design options and lots of personality and stuff. So this is what I came up with. This is a little, this just happens to be a frog, but that was just the first kind of idea I had. But, you know, they're kind of fun. And the idea is going to be that the performer will be behind like a baffle or something, you know, like a wall or just under the set or whatever. And the legs will actually be, you know, taped down or pinned down or something. That's the concept. So when the performer performs them, they can sort of, you know, move around and move up and down, and the legs will stay where they are. I haven't added a mechanism in for that built into the puppet because that will be dependent on whatever situation the actual performance is going to be in. But that's the concept for these. I don't really have a name for them yet. I have a couple of thoughts, but basically it's you start with a ball and go from there. And that's where we ended up with. We got the curved mouth plate going on. We got a carved foam tongue like we did last time. And yeah, so I think these are really fun. This one used, because this was the prototype and I didn't use my best fleece on this, so I may end up like I would not want to risk selling this because the fleece is not great, so who knows how well it's going to hold up over time. So I'm thinking of actually coming up with some kind of a contest and doing a giveaway for this prototype, with the understanding, of course, that this is a prototype, so you know, but it's going to be free, so you know. I'm not quite sure what that's going to be yet, but that's probably where this frog is going to end up. It's going on a contest, a giveaway contest. So there we go. So this was the prototype for this stuff that I want to start working on now. And there's all kinds of stuff you can do with this. So I think a whole bunch of different animals can be done with this. Thank you. It is. I do like the frog quite a lot. It's the curved mouth plate that really makes it. And if you double the amount of legs, you make it a spider. Well, funny you should say that. Because guess what? One of the Halloween builds is, here we go. Now that's a spider. This took way longer than I thought because of course of all of the legs, and I wanted to have them very articulated, like very bendable. So what I ended up doing was, these are obviously just thin tubes of fleece, and I've got like a stick basically of EVA foam in each half, right? So they're very foldable at a very particular joint, which is good because, again, the concept is that the feet would be anchored to something, and yeah, the Widow's Peak. This started out as an orange ball basically, and I did the hair separately, so I was able to do, you know, the Widow's Peak, and then I just literally stitched this on with a ladder stitch all the way around. It was quite a job, but when I had the concept for this, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, no, this is good. Yep, Halloween. So here we go. This is one of the things we're going to be finishing today, is the spider. But yeah, this is gonna look great when it's like in performance and stuff, because again, if you anchor the feet to something, then you know they can move relative to the legs, and the legs bend properly, and it's all like, yeah, okay, this is good. So here are the eyes that I'm actually thinking of. Are there nice black glossy ones, and you can kind of see where we're going, this is kind of a cute spider. I mean, I figure if I'm going to do a spider, you know, you don't want to lean into the arachnophobia side of it too much. So we'll make it a cute spider, a friendly spider. So there we go. My first insect, actually, now that I think of it. Well, not insect, I'm sorry, arachnid. I apologies to all the zoologists out there. And the other, so there's 2 Halloween builds for this week, and the other one is an itsy bitsy spider. It's a, well, as spiders go, it's pretty big. Sort of the wide cam, if that's right. Yes, here we go. So the other one is a Nernie, and it's going to be a Gothy Nernie. Real simple. I did the, was it last year, I think, that the debut of the Goths, the Gothy style of my standard models, I debuted. So, because last year, I think it was, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was last year, who knows, it's all a blur, was the Ogre and the Greebly. So this year we're doing a Goth Nernie. Didn't you do a B? You're right. Right, it a Greebly that was styled as B. You're absolutely right. Well remembered. See, I don't remember. But anyway, yeah. Thank you. There we go. My first arachnid then. Because I have yet to do a scorpion. Or a daddy longleg. Actually, that's way closer to a daddy longlegs, or at least there's a couple of different versions I know around the world of what people call a daddy longlegs. One of them is like a damselfly or something. I can't remember. Anyway, I'm getting in my head about zoology and entomology. I know a lot of ology. I'm watching, again, been sewing a lot, so I've been watching a lot of YouTube, including zoology. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. So with the Goth Nernie here, I did these 3D printed eyes. Let's go to the top cam. Here's the top. There it is. You know, same button, same place every time, and nothing ever changes. Man, I still can't remember where it is. Anyway, so here are our eyes. Here are the ones for the spider, and I already did the glossiness. We're all ready to go. The spider is effectively done. It's going to need the tongue and the eyes, and that's it. And here are the eyes for the Nernie, and as you can see, I did the dual color printing, so it's got a nice black, you know, like eyeliner, hello, rim around it. And what we're gonna do with these, we're gonna do eyelids, and that's kind of it. And then I gotta decide on the hair, which I haven't actually decided on yet. Gotta be, you know, appropriately gothy. So thankfully I have some black fur. But yeah, that's what we're doing today. We're finishing off the 2 Halloween builds. Since next week we're still technically into September, for Monday and Tuesday I might still try and squeeze in another Halloween build. I'd like to have more than 2, but we will see how it goes. The build I have to start after that, it's quite a lot, and will be a lot of prototyping. It's a client build, and I actually have like a dentist thing and a concert to go to next week. So, some style and eyeliner, which I had that skull. Me too. I mean, this is the best I could. So you know. Yeah. So that's what we're doing today. The most work. We don't speak a few fangs would look cool. Oh, you know what? That's a good. I was thinking about that actually. That's a good point. Let's stick with this one. So the thing I was thinking was actually, you know, when you face it, spiders got big fangs. I was thinking of some nice foam ones that are quite long, right? Like we want to lean into the Halloween thing. So yeah, no. I think maybe a couple of carved foam, very long fangs. I wouldn't want to do them in plastic because those would be just too long. They'd easily break off. But foam would be quite easy to do that way. So I think yes, we probably will go for a couple of foam long fangs. But yeah, so then yeah, tongue, teeth, eyes, done. But yes, you are absolutely right. But the tricky bit, I think, well, not the tricky bit, but the labor-consuming part, I think, is going to be doing the eyelids and stuff. But that's just, we've done it 1,000 times on stream before, I know, but it's just the way it goes. It's where we're at. So let's start with that. I didn't even put my rings on because I'm gonna have to get into the gloves immediately. So finish my coffee. We're gonna get to building. Yeah, that's the thing about the ball shape, right? I mean, there's way more you can do with it than I originally thought. And like, one of the things I think is probably going to be in the future is a pig, with just little short, stubby, trotters. Love to see a tarantula version. They come in such lovely colors. You're right. Yeah, so I think that's going to be a Halloween regular. It was, for what I plan to charge for them, it was way more labor than I anticipated just because of the 8 legs. You think, oh, the legs are just a tube, that's easy. It's easy, but there's 8 of them. Right? So it took me like hours to do the legs and get them all attached right and everything. So a lot of dull joints, literally a whole package of dull joints, because there's a dull joint in the foot and a dull joint that connects the leg to the body. So there's 2 dull joints per leg. So yeah, with a couple left over, but it was effectively a whole package of dull joints to use in the spider. So that was a lot. So I will build the special for Halloween, but I don't think there'll be regular shop builds. There'll be Halloween specials, for sure. Okay, let's get on with this stuff here. I think because we're doing Gothy for the Nerny here. Couple of things. There's a lot of work in hardware. It is. It really is. So obviously we're going to do black hair. I'll probably add a little color accent in somewhere. That I still have thinking about. And obviously with the eyes, we're going to have the nice thick eyeliner. Let's just sort of see this in situ. We're not shooting a tutorial today for a change. I got one brewing though, don't worry. So you see how nice that is with the black. So I think what I want to do is actually just black eyelids as well, because so it's like they're heavily black makeup, right? They're gothy. I would know. So yeah, I think we're just going to go with black eyelids. Thankfully, I do have a chunk of black fleece that I had dyed a while ago. And I'm also going to do lipstick. So I'm going to do some nice pointy lips. In the black, of course, right? To drive the gothy thing home. So, yeah, let's get on with that. Let's just do the eyelids first. It's got to start somewhere. It's already warming up in here quite a lot, and I have to keep the door closed because we're about to get the glue and stuff out. So let me just make sure the door is actually closed, so Jimmy doesn't wander in while there's glue flying around. That would be bad. So I forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Definitely want that for a stream. Okay. Let's get a lozenge going, and then we will get I vote for eyebrow piercing. Not a bad idea. Let me think about that. I'm a little hesitant to do anything like that that's making a new hole, just because that could go wrong, and I'm at such a late stage now, and I do not have any time to fix it. That I need to sort of play it safe from this point, but we'll see. We will see. I did that for the ogre last year. I did I think it was both an eyebrow and a nose piercing. The big ring on the nose. Real fun. Okay, let's get these out of the way here. We'll put the spider up here. The nice thing about the small ones is you can kind of put them everywhere. I'll put the Nerny down on the floor here. And let's grab our black fleece. It was at the bottom of the scrap pile, and it's got all lint all over it. Thankfully, I've got a lint brush, but so there we go. We got some black fleece, and that's gonna look good, right? Once we cover that with the, it's gonna go well. So basically, I want to do them like half closed. He's got the sad look. But the first thing I want to do is I kind of see this on the camera. This thing is just covered in lint. Let's get rid of some of that lint. Let's get the lint brush out here and we'll just clean that off. There's a lot. I don't usually use black fleece except during Halloween, so this tends to drift to the bottom of the pile, as it were. Okay, get a good chunk of it right there. We don't need a lot, so let's conserve as much as we can, because this I actually did dye myself. Because surprise, surprise, Kevin had black dye. So let's try and not have to dye anymore if we don't have to. I never need very much of this, so. All right, that'll do. So, I am going to get my little guide box here to help us evenly draw where the eyelid should go. I have to turn the fan on in a minute. Blowing out, unfortunately. I had it blowing in for the majority of the morning because the air is a little bit cooler outside than in. It's a bit of a swamp at the moment. Okay. So, get my handy dandy compass. And we're gonna go, yeah, let's put halfway. It's good, just like that. I do it like this just so they're even. I think what the eyebrow piercing is, I wouldn't want to do it with an actual metal piece of jewelry. So I'd want to 3D print something. Or just make something out of plastic like that. But I didn't plan for that, so let me think about that. There may be an eyebrow piercing in the finished product, but we'll see. For the moment, we're gonna proceed. Wrong way. There we go. All right, and this way we can help to guarantee that the eyebrows are more or less even. So, or eyelids. I am also, although you won't really see it, I am also going to do the black foam eyeliner across it, not necessarily for visual purposes, like not for design purposes, but because it creates a nice clean finished edge, which this wouldn't have. So I am still going to do this the old-fashioned way, as it were. Okay. I'm also not going to get the barge out for this. I'm going to use spray adhesive. There we go. This away, and let us. This is the nice stretchy stuff. Wish I had more of this. Okay, it stretches that away. So let's cut this in half. Half here. No reason to have all this extra hanging on here. I'll set that aside. We'll use that for the lipstick. Alrighty. So next, we're gonna get the adhesive going. Like that, yeah, that's good. Miniskeep, nice to see you. Welcome, welcome. Okay, time for the good oldie spray adhesive. And in order to have it not just aerosolize and go everywhere, I already mucked up a bit of my work surface so that kind of got a bit of overspray. It's all sticky in this one spot. I don't like it. I just got an old piece of cardboard box here. I really have to replace because it's just falling apart. But I just use this as a kind of backsplash to stop it from spreading too far. This is, you know, vertical, so it's stopping it. I can contain where the spray goes at least a bit. Yeah, I really need I need to replace this indispensable cardboard box. Good Lord. I never think of it. When I actually have an appropriate box to replace this with, I never think of it. Just grab a couple of gloves here because we're going to be getting into it. First day back at work since I got something icky. Oh no. They come back to a stream. Sweet. Hope you're feeling better. It's no good. All right, there we go. Our stretch is going that way. We have finished side down. And shaking her up. Ugh. It glued itself shut. Hopefully it hasn't glued the nozzle closed. Guess we're about to find out. Oh, you know, I gotta put the fan on. This stuff isn't anywhere near barge for the toxicity. So you could, like, I'm not going to use a mask for this, but it does kind of aerosolize. So I like to have the fan venting regardless. There we go. We don't really soak it, but get a good coverage. And this stuff you can work with pretty quickly. I usually hit it with a hairdryer just for a second. Uh-huh. Yep, give me a sec. I mean, you're kind of seeing my tips. So, you know, lay it flat like that. Obviously, put something underneath it. Use the gloves, but you really just, there's no real way to avoid getting it around. You just kind of have to be careful. There isn't really a technique or anything that I'm aware of, at least. So I just try and grab it by the edge and just kind of be aware of where the adhesive is and where you're touching, right? But yes, that same thing has happened to me. I've got it around places and I've had to like redo it because it did not go to plan. There we go. And that's why I'm using multiple fingers like that, right? It's because I probably got some, you know. Now it dries quickly. That's the other thing. So that's good. So by now it's probably not going to get around. This edge here. Go. I had to keep swapping gloves. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, no, it can be quite mucky. That's the nice thing about, you know, something like barge or something that you brush on, is that's way more controlled than this. But the good news is that's all we got to do. That's it. You can even just put this away. So, as usual, what I do now is I just trim off all but a little bit of a margin, as it were, with our non-stick scissors. May actually have to get the barge out for this. I like to make sure that it's well anchored down. Let's see if I can get the close-up cam. I gotta work relatively fast with this, so I may not have time to, but let's see. I forgot to set up the autofocus on the close-up cam. Let's just see where we're at here. So, you know, I've got this little edge around here, and I just fold that over and tuck it in around the back. This is where you might have to get some other adhesive out and brush it in back there and glue it down. Although that does seem to be holding okay. And once I get the foam eyeliner in there, that will hold the whole thing down. It's not a bad idea to get a little bit of insurance though. Which I think I might do. Too bad. This is one of those judgment call situations. Take this off, I might be able to get it around there a bit better. So you just want to, you know, wrap it around and get it anchored down quite well. I mean, remember, this is going to be pressed up against up its face, so probably going to be fine. Yeah, it is a bit of a tricky one. Like I said, there's no technique that I'm aware of for not getting it everywhere, other than just, like, you got a lot of fingers, presumably. Use them all. Okay, that's not too bad, actually. Seems to be holding pretty well. Looks pretty good. Nice and melancholy. So now I need to find, if I have any, I might not have any, sticky back craft foam. I may have to get some more. I might be out. Good Lord, am I out? I probably have some, but it's buried. Well, okay, plan B then. I got lots of sticky back velvet. We can try and use that. Would probably do the job. Cutting this into a very even strip is a bit of a big ask, but let's see what we can do. So this is sticky back velvet. This isn't the craft foam that I usually use because I think I'm out. I'll probably find a cache of it or some point after this stream. Like, I should have been prepared, but oh well. Oh, wait, what's this? Nope, that's velvet. Oh well. Carry on. So what we're gonna do then, I mean, it's the same thing as the craft foam. It's just gonna be a little bit harder to get even, but we will see. Thankfully, even isn't necessarily a big problem because this is, you know, black on black. So we're just doing this for a finished edge. So it can actually be a bit thick, which is good for our purposes. Since Vaseline can be used on the little contacts to keep it from sticking, could that work on the fingers of the glove, or would that stain the fabric? Yeah, I wouldn't want to try it just in case it. Again, if the concern is getting stuff everywhere, it's the glue or the Vaseline, right? I mean, like, it's a good thought. I would be more tempted to. Now, you know what? Anything can potentially stain. I guess it depends on the color of the fabric. If it's a very, very dark color, you might be okay. But I fear the only real answer is just to be careful. And if it goes wrong, try again, like have spares or whatever, just in case you have to do it again, right? Sometimes the answer you don't want is the only one, but you know, that's the way it goes. I would be, at least I know for me, I would probably get the Vaseline everywhere. Part of the challenge of doing this is accounting for my own clumsiness. Now that's felt, not sticky back. Oh well. Anyway, I'm trying desperately to avoid having to use the velvet, but okay. Fine, we'll do with the velvet. So I'm just trying to line up a fairly even strip here. Thankfully, we've got the straight edge to kind of gauge against. I've got a razor blade. Be very, very, very careful. It's a razor blade. And there we go. It's not bad. And let me put the razor blade back in container here. It's good to not let a razor blade be rattling around on your work surface unprotected. So I'm going to take this, and this is thicker than I would normally do, but again, it doesn't matter because, you know, black on black, and also it should be thick. It's black eyeliner on a goth. Come on. And I'm just going to fold it in half and cut it at the fold. So now we've got two. And we're just going to lay that in. We're going to take the sticker back off and lay it in. But before I do that, I got to blow my nose. I'm going to mute the mic for a second. One sec. Oh, excuse me. Body hates me. What can I say? All right, so we're going to peel the sticker off here. And the stickiness isn't necessary, like it is to hold it in place, but it is really just to hold it until we can wrap it around the back, and then we're going to drop some hot glue on it to really anchor it down. Okay, because I just wrap it around the back like that. But you can see, let's see if we can do the close-up cam here, see the difference between, there's the no edge, there's the edge. You can see how much cleaner this one is. I mean, the autofocus would cooperate, which it won't, of course. But yeah, this one's got just a more straight line finished edge. I just like it better. It just looks tidier. So I always do something like this. This is too long, so we'll just cut this off. Note to self, buy some sticky back craft foam. Definitely going to need it for next week's build, which at the moment is still a secret. It is a client build, so I will have to ask permission before I stream it, but my plan is to do that. Okay, here we go. That's pretty good, actually. That looks quite nice. I am pleased with that. And so that same thing, we just do it again. The nice thing about the craft foam versus the velvet is the craft foam kind of goes around curves a bit easier. The velvet kind of wants to fold up, so you have to really smooth it out. Okay, I think we're effectively there. Yeah. So to finish it, I always just drop a little bit of hot glue at each of these points where it wraps around the back, just to hold it in place. A little insurance. Don't use a lot, only use a little. You just want to tack it down. And let it really set up before you go messing with it. The hot glue completely hardened. Yep. Okay, so we're just gonna let that sit. And I'm gonna have another lozenge. I also want more coffee. I have a bit more coffee. I can go get more coffee. What time is it? 10:40. It's 10:40 already. Good Lord. I didn't realize we were at, been 40 minutes already. So what else are we doing? We're doing lipstick on our Gothic Greebly, and we're doing hair. So let's go. The wide cam here. Lipstick is fairly straightforward, but I'm still unsure what I want to do about the hair. There's aren't a lot of options. I only have this one length of black fur. I thought I had some black wig left over from a previous build, and I didn't. I thought I had more than I had. I had a little bit of wispy scraps, but nothing I could really use. So it's going to have to be the black fur. So I'm thinking just like a little mop. Just, you know, not necessarily in back like that, but just a kind of Burt style bit at the top. We just cut a piece off here and we'll have a look at it in place. It's really the lipstick that's going to sell it, right? Mullet, no, not a mullet. Even though a goth with a mullet, come on. Yeah, something like this. Yeah, you know what? Make it real. If you flatten it a lot, it'd be real emo, right? Yeah, something like this. That'll do. Obviously nicer than this, but just to kind of get a vibe check on it here. We can do a bit of styling afterwards and see how we're feeling, but I just want to get sort of a size idea of what we're looking at here. You know, starting to come together. Starting to get there. And I don't think I'm going to do a tongue. Just because the black lipstick is going to go right up to the lip edge, obviously. And so we want to continue that black, right? The tongue would kind of break it up in that little splash of color. We don't want that. So I think we're not going to do a tongue on the Nerny. However, this size is not bad for the hair. We just want it a circle. So we're going to grab our chunk of black fur here. And like I said, I think I might do a little splash of color on the hair. That I have a lot of options for. Maybe even some long bangs in a different color. Very 80s. Ask me how I know. I was there, Gandalf. All right, so I'm gonna grab a silver Sharpie, which you do have to be careful with because these are literally paint and they don't dry very quickly. So you do have to be careful. Let's go to the overhead cam here for this. Here we are. And a circle of the appropriate size is about the same size as a tin of bars. So we're going to use that as our template. This is an unopened tin. I'm currently between tins. I disposed of my old tin because it was effectively empty. And now this is the new one and I haven't opened it yet. So we're in that weird middle stage. But we're just going to draw our circle. It's kind of pleasing that it's bars, that's the template. There we go. And I'm going to do what I usually do, and I'll just create a nice finished edge around here with some glue. First, we want to cut this out. As always, we're cutting just the netting and not the fur. Using my coffee break as motivation to get this done. Off camera, kind of. I'm not really sure why. This camera looks better than it usually does. The overhead camera. I know the color is brighter or something. Why? I have no idea. I did have to reset everything. There's some work I was doing here last week, so. No idea what I did right, but we'll take it. All right, there we go. There's our disc of fur. Make sure it's not on the wheels of my chair. And I'm just going to go around because you can see the direction that the fur is going in. Obviously, it's going this way. So we just want to sort of do half of it and pull this over and create like a little finished edge. So we're not seeing the edge of the netting in whichever direction we put this. I may actually go further if I'm gonna do this as a kind of an emo thing with the hair going in this direction. I may actually finish the whole edge. There was an abstract character, more specifically one with an abstract shape to the head. Yeah, that's my favorite kind. I mean, you can kind of argue that that's what the nerdies are. Yeah, that's a relatively abstract shape for the head. But you can also argue that the new ball form that I'm playing around with are kind of abstract shapes as well. It's a very Don Celine early Muppet design thing to do that. But perhaps we are using the word abstract differently. Do let me know if I'm misunderstanding that. But yeah, basically, when I think of an abstract shape, I mean, it's like, it's not necessarily the normal shape for a head, for example. But it's also kind of simple. And I think of like Wilkins and Watkins as a good example of, or the early Sesame Street, anything, whatnot puppets as a good example of that. And yeah, that's actually my favorite design choice of all. Love me some simplicity. I really should put a piece of paper down so I don't get hot glue on my work surface. Trying to keep this cutting mat nice for this stream. I'm going to take an old scrap of paper here and just in case the glue does drip. So I'm just creating a very thin line of the glue, and I'm folding over just a little edge, just so we don't see the raw netting. You have to work fairly quickly because you still want the glue hot. You just don't want it like molten. They look simple because they hide how complicated they are. It's true. And also, like, it's easier to kind of get to a very clear character with a simpler shape. At least I find. The whole goal, at least for me, when I'm designing, is I don't want there to be any question about the personality of this character. I want you to be able to glance at it without hearing their voice or with the moving or anything like that. At a glance, you have an idea of who this character is. And that, of course, will depend on each individual. And your reaction to that is going to depend on, you know, how you feel about that type of character. But it should be clear. And the simpler the shape, the easier it is to convey that. Right? You look at Bert and Ernie are a really good example. Look at their personalities versus their shapes, right? Bert is intense, right? And very direct. So he's pointy, right? And Ernie is blobby and happy and goofy and silly, so he's got a wide floppy head, right? That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. That's the best, for me, that's the best design language of all. And Don Salim was an absolute master of that. But that's really, for me, that's the most important part, is I need to have an idea of what their personality is, way more than anything else, way more than their voice or even what their design or color or anything like that. I need to know, like, who is this character? I am going to go around and finish this whole edge, I think, just a little insurance. Have you ever made a puppet so frustrated you had the feeling that you'd bitten off more than you could chew? I know I certainly have. Oh, goodness, yes. I've never had one that I've had to just give up on, thankfully. But I have definitely had moments of doubt with a few of them. Early on, one of my first BlinkMech live hands puppets, I literally thought I was going to have to give up on it. I really, really screwed up. I don't even remember what I screwed up. I felt that I screwed up something really bad, and I literally threw the head in the trash, and it was just like, I got to start over. And then I thought about it, and obsessed on it. And thankfully there was nothing else in the trash. It was just that head. I pulled the head out of the trash, and I kept on working on it, and I got it to a point where it's like, you know what, this is good. And it ended up, being one of my most popular. Like, it sold immediately to a school. The purchaser of which is still following me on Instagram and has apparently they are still quite the celebrity. They're doing school announcements in elementary school now, and they're called Snaggletooth. Which is really good because it's a furry live hands monster with like a single fang. Sorry, Snuggletooth, that's it. All right, there we go. There we have a nice finished edge around all the whole thing. So I'm gonna put the hot glue away before something unfortunate happens. Yeah, I was really happy with Snuggletooth. In fact, they're the one that's in. I think it's on my Etsy banner, and the banner on the website. The big green one in the back. That's Snuggletooth. That was the one I've got a picture of the head in the garbage, and I just wouldn't give up. I just like, nope. If I don't conquer this, I will lose my confidence. So I kept at it, and it turned out to be great. So that's an object lesson for everybody, I think. Don't give up. Things can seem overwhelming, but it's not innate talent. Sometimes things go wrong. It has nothing to do. It has everything to do with experience and nothing to do with talent. So, believe me, I'm living proof. So yeah, just keep at it. Yeah, we're getting somewhere here. This is not bad. So I'm thinking. Oh, believe me, like no builder, no matter, like, I guarantee that people who are currently working on the Muppets, they've all had moments where they're like, this isn't working, you know, or they just plain screw up, or something goes wrong and the sewing machine breaks a needle, or something will always go wrong. I don't think there's ever been any build that I've done that's ever gone completely to plan. But it is just experience. It's, you know, it's like I keep saying, the difference between a pro and somebody who isn't a pro is not that they don't make mistakes. It's that when the mistakes happen, they can improvise because they have the experience to know how to handle things. So that's all. It's just experience. Which is why you shouldn't give up, because you won't get the experience if you do, right? So. Failure is the first step towards success, right? I'm a walking motivational poster here. Okay, this is going good. I like where we're headed here. Now let me just, I don't know I'm gonna end up going this direction, but let's just see. While we're here, I've got quite a lot of this scraps of blue wig here. And I was thinking maybe long bangs, but I'm not sure that would work out. Let me see. Because this is an old Halloween wig, and so it's not particularly dense. The wefts are very far apart. I know you can't really see it on the camera. I have any smaller pieces. Let me see. What's this? Oh, this is a whole wig. This is a purple wig. It's a very dark purple, though. You wouldn't really see it against the black. I've also got some pink. Some pink wefts. If I double them up, I can make them a bit denser. Kinda. That's a little long, but. Huh. Okay, hang on. If we put it off to one side. I don't like it. If it was shorter, I mean, I could make it shorter, obviously, but not easily and not well. Maybe you really need, like, barber experience to do that properly. I have a dog puppet that is my second make from years ago. It still has no skin. I struggle with draping. Oh, draping is hard. Everybody struggles with draping. You are far from alone in that respect. I only do simple draping. I have yet to do anything really complicated, but that's just part of the advantage of keeping the shapes simple, is that nothing gets complicated, so not really faced with that. The other thing we could do is use some fringe, some ostrich fringe. for some bangs. No, that's not too bad. I think I kind of like that. Maybe we'll go with that. That would be relatively easy to sort of just glue under the hair. Yeah, let's try that. We'll go with the. This is a much better length than the wig. We'll try some of that. So I do want the hair going in this direction for the bangs because we want the bangs to kind of hang down. So that means I'm going to take time to airbrush and make a horror puppet demon dreamer. Hey, there you go. Never use an airbrush. Tempted. I used to make model kits a while ago and real tempted to try my hand at some airbrushing. That grabs. Oh, fold this in half and make a relatively dense fringe here. If I had an airbrush, yeah, they're not cheap. So I think if I glue this in kind of like that, thankfully we've got enough black fur that I can afford to experiment a little. And then when it goes on, we'll just have that kind of under fringe of blue there. I think we'll go with that. I'm going to do this in a couple of sections actually, so it plays properly. Do it like this. The only one in the front where the bangs are going to go. That, and then another one kind of like that. Let's just see what it looks like. If I don't like it, then we won't use it. Sometimes you don't know until you try. Very often you don't know until you try. Moral of the story, try. Never mind what Yoda says. There is try. What do you know about it, Yoda? I'm trying right now. Put this relatively far back so we don't end up seeing the ribbon part. Just follow the eyes of the puppet too. Creepy on its own. Oh yeah, you got a couple of airbrushes there, eh? I've never used one. They're neat though. I guess for all your prop making stuff, that would be quite useful there in Inkscape, I assume. Make sure that's far enough back that we're not going to see. All right, we're just going to let that set up for a second. Is it one of those big, like, these kind of batteries, these like power tool batteries? This is for the Dremel. All right, let's see. Oh, that's pretty good. Let's go to the wide cam here and check this out on the actual puppet. I should do purple because they got purple fur, but hey, When have I ever coordinated? Yeah, it's good. It's just subtle enough, right? It's not too drastic. And I think we just style it a little bit. And then, yeah, we're getting there. This is all right. I think with this and the lipstick, we're kind of there. Okay, cool. It's 11:04, which means we are at halftime, which means coffee break. So I'm gonna go get some coffee and I'll be right back. I will leave the chat up on the screen, continue talking amongst yourselves. Use an airbrush to clean your workspace. I use, where did I put it? There it is. Not just to clean my workspace, but to blow off a puppet. Please don't clip that. To blow air over a puppet to get rid of, like, you know, lint and scrappy bits of fur and stuff like that. These are rechargeable. It's not really an air compressor. It's just like, just makes air. It's for computers. Right? But it's rechargeable, so it's not like those cans of air that are just going to the landfill. These are rechargeable, so it's handy. But yeah, same principle, right? Compressed air. Tamiya sounds familiar. You about from Gundam models. Nice. So I think I want to let the Nerny kind of percolate in the old brain box a bit more. So we're going to switch to the spider now, I think, and because that's real close to finish. So I need to finish something soon because it's Thursday, and there's also a Warframe dev stream at 2 p.m. So I'll be checked out at that point. So I want to get this done, all done by tomorrow. So. Yeah, I'm sure I've still got some of their paints around from when I was doing model kits. What's your technique to deal with shedding for a fur-covered puppet? I haven't needed to deal with it because I haven't had any fur that's really shed badly. Are you having one that's like, going bald in places? I've never had that, so thankfully I haven't faced that situation. I dread to think of what would happen if that happened to Frankie, although I'd probably play it for laughs, but yeah, so I don't have one, Joe, because I've never actually had to face that. What I do is before I ship a puppet, like obviously you're always going to have bits of fur that go flying after you've trimmed it and styled it and stuff like that. So that's why I take the air compressor and I just sort of go over the whole thing just to kind of get rid of all of the stuff. Because it's not real nice for somebody to open a box, pull the puppet out, and then there's like fur flying everywhere, right? So my house looks continually like a dog grooming salon. I mean, we need to get a new battery for our Dyson vacuum because I use it so much in here that the battery is like already, you know, gone. Let me going bald and clipping. Oh, from the cutting process. Yeah, well, like I said, the first thing I do before I ship it is I hit it with the air compressor. And for just the fur that gets around, that's when I'll use the air compressor on the work surface and get rid of all the fur there. And then when it goes on the ground, that's when I get the Dyson vacuum out and ruin the battery because I use it like 2 or 3 times every day. I have to because a certain cat will eat anything he finds on the floor, including fake fur. So, multicolored dogs do, yeah. Well, this is the thing. Like, I before I let Jimmy in here, I'm going to have to at least take the vacuum and go over it once because he'll eat any little scrap of anything he sees on the floor. It doesn't have to look like food. It doesn't have to smell like food. It certainly doesn't taste like food. If it exists, it's going inside. So, I have to make sure that nothing that is not food is on the floor. But yeah, that's what I do for just handling, you know, the fur that gets around as you're trimming and stuff like that. Is it just wait for it to settle, load off the work surface, get the vacuum out, and sometimes you just deal with it. Sometimes, I mean, there's always we go through so many lint brushes here because every time when I go outside, I have to make sure I'm lint brushed down because I'm always covered in fur, like always. So yeah. Flowbee helps, absolutely. Our dear friend BJ Geyer actually recommends a Flowbee if you can get them. I think they still make them. I know you can still find them. I don't know if they're still being manufactured or not, but yes, Flowbees are actually really good for like puppet fur grooming. They help with that cleanup process a lot. All right, let's get on because time's moving forward as well. I know. So let's go to the Ycam. Over the Ycam. Let me just get the Nurney out of the way for the moment. I'm going to let you think about what you've done or what you're about to do. And for the spider, we did talk about the fangs, so I think we'll do that first. Let me just move the Nurney down here. And we'll go to the overhead cam. And I should get the old camera back that followed me around because this is not a great look. I mean, if you're really into torsos, I guess, I don't know. Anyway, so what we're gonna do, our spider here. This turned out way better than I had envisioned. This just naturally is like, yeah, this is good. I'm gonna get some foam, and we're gonna do carved foam for the big fangs. And we gotta be real careful because there isn't a lot of overbite. As you can see, it's very, very thin. So I gotta be real careful with how these get placed. You don't want the mouth to close and then crush the fangs, right? We want the fangs on the outside, so. Let's see if I can find some scraps of foam. I'm sure I saw some somewhere. Here we go. So, I think the first thing I'm gonna do is just gonna cut out some very basic shapes. We'll put our spider up on the stand like that. Move the good scissors out of the way so I don't accidentally cut the foam with them. That would be bad. get our foam cutting scissors out, which just so happened to look identical to the good scissors because they used to be good scissors and then I retired them to the foam drawer. But we want these to be relatively long, so let me see. This is just 1/2 inch polyfoam. Just gonna get a basic piece here. I'm gonna make it longer than I want them as a finished thing. Just because you could always, take stuff away, but you could never add stuff. So I think to start, we'll just do your basic triangle. This is how I normally do like teeth or fangs or something like that, because this is all square. Trim off square edges. We are going to get the lovely sweater defuzzer out and smooth this down. But one thing we are going to want to do is probably make this quite thin, so it will fit. Matter of fact, we can do, it might not work out, but I guess we'll find out. All right, so I've actually cut it down to about 1/4 inch. The old spider plush, that was from Jumanji film. Oh yeah, I'm not. I mean, I know the film, but I don't believe I ever saw that bit of merch. All right, so these are way too long, just so we're both on the same page. But let's have a look at this in situ and see where we're at in terms of like depth. I'm going to take a clamp, clip, and clip the mouth shut, so we make sure that it's sitting, on the outside and it won't be crushed by the mouth when it's closed. Well, the fun part about the colors on the spider is I really just made the orange ball as part of the prototyping process for the new model, and I didn't really know what I was going to do with it. And then I went, you know what? I've got some brown fur. I'll do a spider. Okay, so I've clipped the mouth shut. And I'm thinking just very vampire-y, right? Just real, yeah. I'm not making too much shorter than that. That's pretty good. But this one's a little thin. I'm going to try and go this. Again, the nice part about this is it's a very organic process. You're kind of sculpting as you go and just seeing what you come up with. You're not going for precision at all with this, but that's kind of the point. You want them more or less the same length. Okay, so don't look too bad. You see, we'll just get like static electricity to hold them in place, kind of. Yeah, I think we can definitely do that. So I also have to attach the eyes. So now that's the easy part. I just got to make a couple of holes. So I think I'm going to do that first. Get that all done. And for that, we're just going to eyeball the placement here. These are my standard threaded peg eyes. So we'll just just get these in place and just sort of see where they should sit. Thankfully, pupil focus is not an issue, because there are none. That looks about right. So, like I usually do, I take one away, set this up, see where the center is, mark it like that, pin. That, get the pin, and now we're going to just put a couple of dots there, make sure we know where it is. Before taking the pin away. Never just enough people to find spiders cute until this very moment. I wanted to sort of go in that direction because, you know, hey, I gotta sell the puppet. If I would, believe me, I would love to make really, really creepy stuff, but I don't think it would sell very well. I do have to, unfortunately, deal with some crass commercialism. That making and applying the legs was, yeah, that took way, way longer than I anticipated, but it's worth it. I literally spent like a day on the legs. Not quite a day, a couple hours. We're one of those no breaks day. All right, as usual, we're getting our extremely dangerous fire situation going here. Let me just take the clip out so we don't hit that by mistake. Jumping spiders are adorable. You are absolutely right. Jumping spiders are cute. They are genuinely cute. Unless you really seriously got arachnophobia, of course. In which case, I don't think any spider is cute. I thankfully don't. I'm not crazy about them, but I don't have like full-on arachnophobia. They as long as it's not like, you know, interfering with me, it can stay. Ever watched Meet the Feebles? I haven't actually watched Meet the Feebles, which I know is very weird, but because it seems like I should have, right? I haven't, and I don't think I would appreciate it because I don't really like. I like the Dark Crystal style of creepy puppet. I don't like the adult creepy puppet thing. You know what I mean? Not that I think that puppets should only be for kids, because something like the Dark Crystal proves that it's not. But I think there's a line kind of which I don't like edgelord humor, basically. And that's kind of what Meet the Feebles feels like for me. All right, fire. Make the rod hot. You poke a hole. And you poke a hole. We let the smoke out. We got the fan going. It's still going. We are venting the toxic smoke. How much Happy Time Murders appreciated the attempt, most was over the top. Well, that's exactly the kind of thing I'm talking about. I feel bad mouthing it, obviously, because, you know, I actually know people who worked on the Happy Time Murders, and so I don't want to like say anything bad about it, but it's just not, it's not for me. But you know, y'all have seen the Oracle, you know what my humor is like. Nobody likes it. I'm like, you know, old school, you know, old comedians in the Catskills kind of humor. Like for me, like Bob Newhart is hilarious, right? That it's contemplative. I like that. All right, so we're putting the posts through. And this one's actually proving difficult. Get my hand up in there. Gotta go in a very weird angle. There's a lot of space in this head. Oh, baby. You can do it. All right, I gotta do this with my other hand, which is not the hand I would normally do this with. Please don't clip that. I'm saying that a lot lately. I don't know what's happened. Speaking of adult humor. It's tricky to line up. TV show Angel. I'm not sure I've seen it. Is that the Buffy spinoff? In which case I have not. I don't, but again, if it's a TV show, I probably haven't seen it because I just straight up do not watch TV. I have watched a fair amount of the new Andor, which I quite enjoy, but if it's on TV, there's a very good chance I haven't seen it. All right, here we go. Let's go to the overhead. We get this in place here. I'm not gonna screw it down too hard. Just gonna get it set while we put the fangs on. Which is gonna be a bit of a challenge, but it's all right. All right. Yeah, that's pretty good. Of course, the other thing we're going to want to do is a tongue. I think this one definitely does need a tongue. But before that, let's get the teeth in place. I'm actually a bit nervous about that, so let's just get it over with. It's hard to get the clip on this because the mouth plate is curved. There we go. Okay. So, in order to do this right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a drop of hot glue on here. We're going to press it like that. And we're just going to keep it held there for a second. This is tricky. This is how I do all my foam teeth and fingernails and stuff like that. It's a bit dicey, but it usually goes okay. All right, but we do have to work fairly quickly, so it's a bit tricky, but some paper here. Smarter way to do this, of course, is with contact cement, but I'm not smart. But press it in, and I kind of compress the top a little bit. Nice, Indies Keep. Well done. Yeah, join the Discord. Hashtag join the Discord. Okay, there we go. There's one thing in place. sure it's tidy. Yeah, it looks okay. There we are. I don't want to touch that for a minute. I just want to let the glue set up. It's nice and finished. Yeah, that's pretty good. And while we're waiting for that, we can do the tongue. Which will be, I think, was it with last stream that I did the carved foam tongue, wasn't it? I've actually still got those two that I did on stream. These are a little large for this mouth, but we're basically doing a smaller version of this. So let's grab our lovely dyed foam. As you can see, I've been doing stuff. Speaking of which, do I have a small carved foam tongue already that I put somewhere? No. Okay. Grab a wee heart-shaped cutter and be very careful. If I injured myself, I actually hit my hand with a mallet. Doing exactly this. So be careful, kids. Is that the right size? It's a little too small. One bigger. What's that? That's about right. Okay. So, because I don't want to mess up my cutting mat, we're getting a cutting board out here. And this is really tricky because it's really easy to hit your hand if you're holding it in place and trying to hammer. Go one side, then the other, and that's what I messed up. What's the spider puppet price going to fall with all those legs? I had planned on doing about $250 Canadian for these ball style puppets, so I think that's probably what I'm going to put the spider up as. The spider is definitely, like, it should be a bit more than that for the amount of labor time, but in this case I'll make an exception. I won't be doing the spiders on a regular basis. Those will be for Halloween only. So, but the frog, for example, this kind of thing, that's about 250 Canadian. I'm not sure what that is in American at the moment, but less. Probably about 200 or so. Okay, there we go. A little. I managed to not injure myself. What do you know? It can happen. Okay, so just like last time, we're gonna get our foam carving shears out here. That's what these are. Actually, we should just use those. I'm also gonna get my little curved ones out here. The whole point of doing the ball design, it was to try and get something that I could make relatively quickly that will fit in a smaller box to reduce the cost, right? That was the whole idea. It's literally a cost-saving puppet, so I can't charge too much for it because even if I probably should, I won't. And I'm struggling, you say. I wonder why. I would rather people be able to afford them. Particularly in this economy, you know what I'm saying? So what names are you throwing around? I don't name anything I plan to sell. I do not name. I intentionally don't name. That's up for the new owner. I don't name them, and I try not to gender them unless there's a specific, reason to. a lot of the characters I make are so abstract that they could be anything. So. Oh, for the model. Oh, I see what you mean. Right. You know what my naming schemes are like? It's usually, it's got to sound like the thing that it is, right? So, Schnurb is the current working title. Just because it is a sound that I make when Jimmy, my cat, is in a very affectionate mood and he's rubbing his face up against things. It's a sound he likes that means happiness to him. Schnurb. Schnurb. So that's, I think they're going to be called Schnurbs. I gotta check to make sure that's not taken in some way, though. One of those, go to Urban Dictionary and hope that it's not something horrible. All right, this is actually pretty good as it is. I know it's really small, so it's kind of hard to see. I'm just going to smooth it down with the sweater defuzzer, which is buried under here. I hope I don't knock stuff over. There we go. You know, you can't really see what I'm doing there, can you? Yeah, there'll probably be a C involved. Schnurb, like Schnell. All right, that's not too bad. So we are going to shade it a little bit. Yeah. Off you go. Okay, so that's good. We're doing good. Overhead. Putting the foam shears away. So these teeth should be nice and set now. Yep, they're good. We're gonna take the clip out. Are those tiger's eye beads? Where? Well, oh, on my wrist. Yeah, that's this is a bracelet my spouse got me like last year, and this is the one she got me this year. She knows what I like. Yeah, that works. And it's nice because of the curved mouth plate. There's actually kind of a cavity for it to disappear into. All right, works for me. Let's glue it in. Get a little drop of hot glue. A little bit. And make sure it's on relatively straight. Press it down. Hey, I think the spider's finished. Yeah, that's real good. I am pleased. It's even like, you can even do like, it's a rockabilly spider, right? He's got a pompadour. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So, here's the thing. The fags are good. The slightly oversized, right? So it's like,
Hello. You wouldn't have any flies, would you?
Schnurb is not, is in, oh no, Schnurb is on Urban Dictionary, oh dear. I will look that up later. But maybe they won't be Schnurbs, huh? It's literally just a nonsense sound I made up for my cat. So, guess, you know, you never know. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, for a spider, it's pretty cute. I think I might move this eye down a little bit. That seems to be a little bit high, although it's not bad. Like like I said, I like a bit of asymmetry, so you know, it needs glasses, right? Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing. I need more time to think about the Nurney. So we're at 11:40. That's a little bit early for usual, but I think we're probably going to call it there because I need to cogitate and possibly drink a lot more coffee. So that's probably going to be it for now. Let me see. Housekeeping before we go. This Friday, we're recording the podcast, so look forward to that on Saturday morning. I hope to be doing some game streaming soon. The tabletop game that I plan to set is all set up. It's ready to go. I just have to actually have time and brain to do it. So on Urban Dictionary, it means ridiculously cute. I hope you're not joking. It's a good joke if you are, and if it's not, boo. So yeah. Okay, yes, Friday, a podcast, hopefully a game stream soon. I do plan to do another build stream next week. I do have to get permission from the client that I'm building for to do that. I have a suspicion they will have no problem with it. So, not joking, awesome, all right. Hopefully nobody else has taken that name. I guess I'll find out. Anyway, I'm gonna go, because clearly I need more coffee, can't you tell? Thank you, everybody. OperationPuppet.com for all of the links. You know the drill. You've been on YouTube before. Like and subscribe, etc. I got to start saying that. I really actually do have to start saying that. Oh, also, before I go, if you don't know, the TikTok account is active again, and I am posting on it. So they're all the same shorts that go up on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube already, you've seen it. What's going up on TikTok. But yeah, it's actually working out. I'm getting some eyeballs, so that's the whole point. Thank you very much, everybody. I am actually going to go now because you know how bad I am at wrapping this stuff up. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Hopefully we'll see you soon.